on this edition of the Rock and Metal Faith Podcast. We're back to our list of the top 100 guitarists. This time we're going from 49 down to 31.
This is the way we rock.
Welcome to the Rock and Metal Faith Podcast, where music and faith collide. If you like hardcore Jesus rock and roll, or are just curious as to what it's all about, then you've come to the right place. From the classic bands to the up-and-comers and all those in between, we love to talk about them all. So come and join us as we rock for the King, and get ready. We will rock the hell out of you. All right, we're back. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm here. I'm awake, and with all the technical delays that the life of a podcaster, you know.
Right, yeah. We said had a few issues on your end. Delayed this episode by a week or whatever, which is fine. I decided to do a bonus episode. And like I said during that episode, I was trying to do more bonus content anyways, and got a little lazy, so I thought, well, a good time to get my butt in gear and get another one out.
That's right. I saw the show list, and we have a bunch of birthdays, and
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, I sent the notes to you so you would know what's going on ahead of time. Something that just popped up like really recent, within like today or yesterday. Were you a fan of the band The Alarm? Ever hear of them?
Sorry,
The Alarm?
no.
You know, I'm not
Eli?
really a fan of theirs. Oh shoot! I was gonna. Where did it go now? And now I lost it. Let's see if I can find that. Here we go. Okay, so the band The Alarm, for those who know who they are, looks like guitarist. I'm not. He may have even been a vocalist. Anyways, Mike Peters passed away after a long bout with cancer and stuff. Actually, he was maybe the band The Alarm was not a Christian band, but Mike Peters was. I think that's the story behind that.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, breaking news. Just came across that like the last couple days, and so I was gonna write that down, and I was just in the middle of that when I got interrupted. I find if I don't write stuff down, something else I didn't write down either. Better get to it before I actually forget. If I don't write stuff down, I tend to forget all about it.
I know how you feel. I know how you feel. That's why I looked. I don't have my pen today. Oh, there better not be important stuff that you're going to say.
But I did want to say on the news, and we'll get to that in a bit. We did have a couple comments. One came through the Facebook page, which actually we both saw and you commented on. We have a new follower on Facebook, Jay Allen. So welcome to the show, Jay.
Thanks, Jake, for signing up or subscribing. We hope you like our show and, keep the comments coming.
Yes, and on that, for those who don't know, we have a Facebook page. We have a Facebook group page. So sign up for both. I'm going to actually leave. This is news to him, but I'm going to spring this on you and leave you in charge of the Facebook group page, Chris.
Right, that's right. Comment on the videos that I put up if they suck, if they rock, and.
But yes, we have a Facebook page, so I'm going to try and do stuff on there, let people know what's coming up, and so links to the new podcast episode will be on there. Usually with Spotify, because that's our main host, but it is available anywhere you listen to podcasts. So if you have friends, family who might be interested, let them know.
Your friends, your family, your cat, your dog. We're friendly.
Right.
To your grandkids would love us to know about Christian music, and the young ones.
Yes, we'll get them interested in it.
We talk about everything. A little bit about DC talk, and which, by the way, from my little input, it is 35 years ago today, or not today, but on Monday, that Carmen put out his Radically Saved album.
Okay. Was that his first one?
That was his, I think, third or fourth. I tried to find out this week, but he's got a bunch. But Radically Saved was the more, um, that's where he really took off. Like he had
Okay, one of his.
stadiums in Texas. My dad, I think, saw him in Texas, Aaron. 60,000 people.
Wow.
Like,
So that was his breakout album type
that's
of thing,
right. He really broke
or
out. And I mean, I'll put one song on there that would kind of meet our criteria, but it's more,
all right.
it's pretty mellow for me and Aaron. I mean, I've been to a Carmen concert. I don't think Aaron has.
No, but I don't mind some of his stuff. I remember, I don't know, what was it? In the youth group, whatever we're trying to do, we took a couple of songs to do skits too and stuff like that. I think we tried doing a skit along with Witch's Invitation or something like that. His songs actually are very good theatrical type sounds. So
Yeah, like
and
his.
stuff lend themselves to that.
For those who don't know and are like, well, what's one of his songs? If you're looking for him, probably his top number one would have been the Champion.
That was another good one,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's like 7 minutes long though.
Well, nothing wrong with what we've talked about Theocracy, and they do some really epic long
Yeah,
songs and stuff like that. And I think they got one. I think Theocracy has a couple of songs that are like over 10 minutes type of thing. So we got that. Anyways, also as far as new people, we've got where are we here? A new subscriber on our YouTube channel. His name is Brian Rice. So again, welcome to the program, Brian.
thank you for watching us on YouTube. Let us know if our oh
There you go. I just threw
I
that in
should
there.
know that by now.
He also he also posted a comment on I think it was the last episode, but I'm trying to figure out where this is comments relating to. And I think it was because we threw out the question, what is the one album that you would use to introduce other people to the Christian rock and metal scene? And I think this is his comment about that, because this was on the Blood Good episode, so the last episode. And he's saying Deliverance with Weapons of the Warfare, the metal album that best encapsulates the genre. And I have had folks listen to this. So go Jimmy P. Brown, because Jimmy P. Brown, he's the man behind Deliverance type of thing, or I guess the man in front of Deliverance. He's the front man for it.
There we go. Oh
Also, sorry, you got something to say?
no,
Go ahead.
no, I have nothing to say.
Oh. Well, you should. Come on, man. We're podcasters.
I don't want to talk too much that I take over your show, right? So
This is our show, not just my show. We got some new music out, though. That's the other thing I wanted to put up. And it's funny because there was a post on Facebook, and I couldn't think of any, but the post was asking, are there any new bands within the last 10 years? And I couldn't think of any, but there are some. One of them being a band called Chaotic Resemblance. We've talked about them a couple of times on here. I think they were at the Immortal Fest or something like this. They've been around a few years. They've also got a brand new song out. It's out on Spotify, probably other streaming services, called Chaotic Resemblance. Not bad. Sounds pretty much like the last album. So if you like the last full-length album that Chaotic has put out, you'll like this. Also, Calamity Kills has a new song out called Afraid, and it's kind of working on that whole Psalm 23 theme with I will not be afraid. Though I walk through the valley of death, I will not be afraid. So even though the song is called Afraid, the main line is I will not be afraid. And the band Signum Regis has a new song out on on the streaming stuff as well, called Dura Europus. It's a remixed song. I think it's a redone song. They've been doing this lately, taking stuff that they had previously done and redoing it because they've got a new vocalist. So they're doing it with a new vocalist, some of the older stuff, and redoing it. And a couple more updates too. Dale Thompson and the Boondogs has a new album out called Smoke and Mirrors. I haven't had a chance to listen to that one yet. I'll have to put that one on my list to listen to, I suppose. And for those who have purchased the pre-orders of the new Bride album, or the new, well, I guess the new Bride albums, because they've got the double length one, and the other one, Lost Reels 4, which is a bunch of tracks that did not make it onto Vipers. Oh, Vipers and Shadows, that's what it's called. So anyone who has pre-purchased the album, Dale and Troy Thompson have the CDs. They just now have to turn around and ship them out to those who have made the purchases.
Wow.
Which means I did order one of the double length CDs there, the Vipers and Shadows, and I should get mine in about maybe a month, because it's got to go through customs on my and go across the border. Time to plug it in and turn it up. All right, for Plug It In tonight there, I'm going to promote a band I just discovered at the end of last year. Kind of came across, I don't know, social media, Instagram, I'm not sure where. Anyways, I checked them out. They had actually, one of their songs made my best of list. I haven't heard the entire album of that they just released or whatever. But the band is called Majestica. They've got, according to Spotify, 192,666 monthly listeners. They're from Sweden. Huh. They're a symphonic power metal band from Sweden. They've got a new album that came out actually just this year. Maybe that's why I didn't have it on my best of list, because it didn't come out last year. It came out this year. The album is called Power Train. It's got great. They're a power metal band. Really good. I've been listening to the first song off there, the title song called Power Train, and so this is a snippet of that. Tell me what you think of this.
Don't worry, my friend, the train is safe. It's about after days. We're going off-road, just like a crazy train. Full speed of power as we go through the night, through space and through time, where the glory and beauty reside. Now we're singing the anthem together, on a train rolling down the tracks through the town. Adventures
Now that was a rocking song. Okay, I like that guy's voice. What was the name of the band?
Majestica. You can find them on Spotify. They're a power metal
Ma-
Swedish band. You know, it's funny because I thought they were
Maje-
American until I started looking
Majestica.
into them.
Like, oh, I'll get you to send the name of it later. Yeah.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, definitely check them out. They've got a few albums out now. And they've got a whole album out now under the name Power Train. That was the title track. Yeah, I know. I came across my social feeds, I think last year, and I'm going, this is actually pretty cool.
Yes.
I think almost worth getting. I don't know if I want a whole album that sounds like that. I've bought a couple power metal bands. Signum Regis is another one of those that I bought their album because I thought it was really good. But a lot of it, does sound the same unless you can do a deep dive and get right into it. Although a lot of bands are like that, unless you're a deep fan of their band, just a casual listener is going to think most of their stuff sounds the same type of thing. So you can't really make that criticism because you can make that about most bands. So
Yeah. That definitely. What was the name of that single? Oh,
Powertrain,
Powertrain. Okay. For those who don't know, go check them out. Are they
yeah, the
American, by the
single,
way?
the album. Are you listening to me? No, they're Swedish.
Sweden. Wow.
I said that like about 5 times. Is your piece turned
Sorry,
on?
sorry. It's a work in progress. We got to work in my hearing aid. So
All right. Okay, so that's all that, and I think we're on to our main topic, our top metal guitars. This is a list I came across. I think it was my Facebook feed. I thought it would make a good topic. We've been getting should end up with about 5 episodes. Time we're all said and done, maybe even 6, depending on how we take how slow we take the last episode. This was a list that was composed by ClassicChristianRockZine.net, compiled by various surveys of bands, editors, maybe even some of the artists themselves. I'm not sure. And you know what? You got to think somewhere on the list. I won't say where, but somewhere on this list, Rex Carroll's got to be on here.
yes, yes. I would think that he would be on there maybe multiple times.
Why multiple times?
Well, because he's that good. Yeah, yeah, that's my thing.
But like I said, other episodes when we're doing our list, we are going to skip a few spots here and there because some of these guys are not rock or metal. How they make this list here of top rock artists, I'm not sure. Well, it says top Christian rock guitarists, and some of these guys really aren't rock. I'm not sure how they got on this list. Although the article that I got this from did say anybody could add anybody else on the list. They had to kind of sort through the list and weed some people out. People were even adding those who weren't even guitarists on the list. Like I said at the very first episode of this, somehow Robert Sweet got nominated. Well, I'm sorry, folks. Robert Sweet is a drummer, not a guitarist.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's got to be a first class drummer. Like
Oh yes, definitely.
wow.
Well, we're not talking about top 100 drummers. We're talking about top 100
I
guitarists.
think yeah, yeah. If we do a drummer, we'll have to find someone who's an actual drummer who can help us analyze drumming.
Yes. Anyways, um, we've done a couple of these episodes. If you haven't heard those ones, go back and listen to those. We are starting today at 49. Like I said, there's a couple artist spots we're going to skip over because they're not rock. But coming in at 49 is the original guitarist for Disciple, Brad Noah. And stuff. Looks like you're a Disciple fan
Yes,
there,
I
Chris.
know what you're talking about. He is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like him. And I've been listening to the very first Disciple record, or at least what I think is the first one. Just because I'm not sure about Disciple if they've changed lineups over the years, if Oh, who's their vocalist? If they've always had the same vocalist, or if they've always had the same lineup, we'll have to do a deep dive into that band one of these times. Talk all about their history. But the first album actually I like. I might actually like the early stuff more than I like the recent stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, they're really good. I still follow Disciple. I'm not as avid Disciple fan as like 25 years ago, but they've been around a while.
Yeah, there's a few bands that I think are new bands, and then I realize they're not as new as I think they are anymore.
Yeah, yeah, true.
All right, coming in now at 48 is Van Allen Wood. Now you might not know him by name, but here again is another new band within the last 10 years that both Chris and I like. Van Allen Wood is the guitarist for Theocracy. Remember, we did a deep dive into Theocracy, picking our favorite songs off their records. This was a while back now. We'll have to get into Theocracy again, I think. Anyways, here's a piece of a song on there is called 30 Pieces, talking about when Jews had betrayed Jesus. There you go. What do you think of that, Chris?
That was awesome. That took care of my guitar solo needs. To hear a guitar solo once in a
Oh,
while. Wow.
yeah, we got a few more of those coming up. And yeah, so Theocracy, the song is 30 Pieces, coming off of As the World Burns, I believe. And yeah, so another new band actually making waves. I know I discovered them one year when the song was it the album Ghost Ship, I think it was, came out and had hit someone's list for the best albums of that year. Checked out that album and thought that was great. Um, we may have to do a whole episode on that album one of these times. We're a young podcast. I got lots of great ideas coming down the line,
Wow.
so stick with us, folks. All right, number 47. You might know a little more about these guys than I do. These guys are a little bit out of our forte, a little bit out of our wheelhouse, but the band is kind of known, so I left them on the list. I could have easily passed them over. But coming in at 47 is John Sheck, who is the guitarist for Reliant K and toured with Audio Adrenaline.
I know the name, but I really don't know too much about. Is that it? Are you talking about a solo project?
I don't know.
Okay.
Did he do some solo
Okay.
stuff as well? We're just talking about John Sheck as a guitarist. The information I have said he had toured with Audio Adrenaline. I don't know if he recorded any of their records, and he also recorded with Lion K though.
Right.
So he was the guitarist. So a little bit on the pop rock end of things. Not bad. I like some of Audio Adrenaline's stuff. Reliant K isn't bad if you're into pop rock type of thing. And I know a lot of us metalheads, a lot of us into the hard rock will dismiss the pop stuff. But really, it's not easy to play if you're a musician.
Yeah, that's true.
So Yeah, we can give kudos to the pop artists now and then. We're gonna jump down the list now to 44, and we have Ben Cassica, who played with Skillet from 2001 to 2011. So he makes the list. What are your thoughts on Skillet or that era from Skillet? This, I can't remember all the albums that came out in this era, but this era had the album Comatose. So that'd be one that a lot of Skillet fans would recognize, I think. Any thoughts on that?
No, just that reminds me. This week I saw a lot of Skillet in my feed, so I was
Okay.
almost tempted to reach out to their management and say, "Hey, you want to come on the show?"
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see, let's see.
All right. Coming in now at 43 is Tom Milnes. Well, I should have listened to some of these. We talked about these guys. Tom Milnes is with the band Apologetics. Has been with the band with them since 2008. Apologetics, if you remember, played at Immortal Fest. They tour all over the place. They are a parody band. So they take popular songs, play them, and change the lyrics to Christian stories and songs type of thing.
Really, that's cool.
Yeah, we talked about this when we talked about the Immortal Fest. I don't have anything on this queued up, but if you like parodies, they've got some great stuff. I actually made a playlist on Spotify of the rock stuff that they parody because they parody everything. So you know what? For Tom Milnes of Apologetics to be on this list, I think he's worthy because if you're doing parodies, if you're doing the songs that Apologetics does, because they do everything, you've got to be a versatile, quality guitarist. So he definitely deserves to be on this
Are
list.
they like
So
oh, what's his name? Is it like a comedy thing?
like Weird Al, yeah, it's not. You mean Weird
Yeah,
Al?
something like that. Yeah.
Weird Al Yankovic. It's the same idea, but no, it's not meant to be comedy. It's very serious. They change all the lyrics to represent, like I said, the gospel, to reach out to people about Jesus
I'll have to
and tell Bible stories
check
type
them
of
out.
thing. Yes, definitely. That's Apologetics with a big X at the end of the name. I'll even send you the Spotify playlist I made. It's a huge list. They've been around for many years. Probably have had many lineup changes as well. In of 42 now, this guy is not quite in the hard rock realm, but definitely a pioneer of the genre. He's up there with Larry Norman. Coming in at 42, we have Randy Stonehill.
Oh yes, yeah. He's a classic. Yeah. He
Yes,
would have been my. I guess my dad was into it, and then he left it playing one day, and there was a couple songs I was like, "Hey, that's pretty cool."
right? Yeah. Again, he's on the softer side. If
Yeah.
anything, I would compare him to a folk artist type of thing. I really think the only reason he's on this list is because he's considered one of the pioneers, along with Larry Norman. There's Randy Stonehill. Who else was out at that time? It's been a long day of work. My mind is
Yeah,
not
that's
in
okay.
gear.
That's okay. That's why I'm here. I'll fill that space.
All right.
I guess if we want to mention Brian Stonehill, we could almost mention Brian Dirksen. He's also part of that soft worship.
Yeah, but he came around in the '80s. He's more contemporary. He's more CCM than
That's right.
anything. I think that's for another podcast. That's not
I'm
for this
surprised
one.
he wasn't on Brian Dirksen wasn't on the list when I looked at it.
Does he play? Does he play guitar?
Yeah, I was surprised, but
Okay.
oh well.
Yes, but Kris, we're talking about rock
I
guitarists,
know that, I know.
not
Yeah,
not CCM. And if CCM artists make this list, I'm skipping them. So he may have been on this list. Maybe I decided to skip him. I don't know. Actually, I could probably send you that article with the complete list. But anyways, we're moving on to 41, And now we're getting into true 80s rock metal with the band Sacred Warrior and their guitarist
I
Bruce
like that
Swift.
name, Sacred Warrior. That's a cool name.
Yeah, check them out. They made waves. Their biggest album was probably Rebellion. Their vocalist, Ray Pera, I believe his name was, sings super high. For anybody else to sing his material, they would have to be in permanent falsetto.
Wow. That's a little bit higher than I would ever want to sing it. You know?
Yeah, while I will admit, okay, Bruce Swift is a great guitarist. The music behind Sacred Warrior is great. Ray's vocals kind of throw me off. They're almost too high even to listen to, type of thing.
It's wow. That's I mean, there's some good vocalists out there, but that is crazy. That's almost well, I don't know how you would sustain that lifestyle. Like,
I don't know.
well,
I don't know if he did. I think so. I know his. I think Ray is still. Anyways, we're not talking about vocalists. We're talking about guitarists.
that's right. Yeah.
Coming in at number 40, we're getting even heavier again. We got Aaron Guerra, who played with Tourniquet from 1994, and he was the rhythm guitarist. So not fast lead guitar, but heavy on the rhythms.
Wow, Tourniquet, that brings back memories.
Yeah, although this was not the classic Tourniquet lineup. He came in 94, remember? And this was after Vanishing Lessons had been released. He came in and about their Medusa album type of thing. So after their heyday, I think. But, remember, he's coming into a band that's got some big songs, so he's going to have to play those ones when they're playing live, too, right? So
Thanks, Aaron. Now I have pathogenic ocular dissonance in my head. Thanks.
check out Medusa then. All right. On to 39. Here goes. Here's something more your style, I think, Kris. We have Jody Davis, who played with the Newsboys from 92 to 2003, took a break, and then rejoined them in 2009. Jody Davis of the Newsboys. Any thoughts on them?
I don't know which guitarist they had when they released the single I Am Free, but he was awesome. Like, that is
Okay.
probably the rockest song that Newsboys ever put out. If you haven't heard it, find it, listen to it. I think it's awesome. I mean, lots of good Newsboys songs out there, but I Am Free for the Rock and Metal Faith podcast, that would be my number one pick.
All right, at 39, we have John Mahan, who played with Saint on their first two albums, Warriors and Time's End. I've been listening to Time's End. Actually, some good stuff. I think I like that one better than the other signature album of theirs called Too Late for Living. Both those albums came out in the early 80s. Saint is a band that I've been getting into recently. And if you want to compare them to anybody else on the secular scene, very much sound like Judas Priest. So yeah, if you're a fan of Judas Priest, check out Saint. John Mahan played on the first two albums and then left the band. Coming in at 37, here's a band we're familiar with now, getting into stuff that we're a little more known with. Coming in at 37, Greg Bishop of X Center. They were a great band. I was a fan of theirs when they first came out. Man, I loved that first album. What do you think?
Yeah, their earlier album was really good. Get it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll have to do a deep dive on that one. But here's a snippet from No Way In. No Way In from X Sinner. Yeah, again, that comes off their first album, Get It. That's a great
Yeah,
album.
it's a great
If you don't
album.
have it, get it.
Yes, go get it. I don't know if you, where would you get? Oh, yeah, probably online, I think.
It might be hard. Yeah, it might be hard to get
Yeah,
now. I know a lot of the older stuff is
I
hard
know I
to
lost
get.
my
Uh,
Sinner stuff from moving too much. But I think I have a couple songs on my playlist from Spotify.
yeah, and I noticed that Spotify seems to have some weird album that isn't Get It, but has songs from Get It. It's almost like a best of compilation, and a couple of the ones off their second album that were on there sound different. So I'm not sure if they redid the songs or remixed them or what happened there. But anyways, okay, coming in at 36 now, Mike Rowe from the 77s. Remember the 77s?
Nope.
Well, I know they were at that festival here in Edmonton years ago, in the early 90s. Yeah, they got tons of stuff on Spotify. I know, maybe we're going to do a shout out now to the Christian Geeks podcast because they've done a couple of episodes about their records, probably about 3 or 4 episodes now. I know one of the guys from Christian Geeks there is a big 77s fan. In fact, when they did their 77th episode, they picked one of their albums to do. For those who don't know 77s, they're an alternate rock band. They've got a lot of blues influence in the music, but they are softer, alternative, a little bit over the place musically type of
That
thing.
would explain everything why I don't know them. That's right. That's, yeah.
But here's my experience with them. I remember that, I don't know what it was called now, that music festival that had the Christian Rock Fest that was here in Edmonton and way back in the 90s there, probably about 94 or somewhere around there. Okay. Now I remember the 77s were there. I was actually impressed with their live performance that I went and bought a couple records. They had at the time a live record and Tom Tom Blues was out.
Okay.
I went back I went back and ordered their box set. They had a box set of the first 3 albums.
I think I
So I
remember
bought
them.
that one
Are you,
and but so I've got like 5 albums of theirs and I don't listen to them very often because I don't like the music as much as I did when I saw them
wow.
live. Is what I'm trying to get to. The point I'm trying to make. Okay, on to 35. And we just talked about this guy last episode. Paul Jackson, who played with Bloodgood. He collaborated on. Now, this is where I got kind of confused watching that documentary when he came into the band. But what I have on the notes from him was he collaborated with them on the first couple records. He wrote a couple songs for them. He wrote a little bit of. Oh, I think he collaborated on Demon on the Run, which was off the first record, and on another one on the second one. Did some writing credits that he did some recording and writing for the album Out of the Darkness, but didn't really become their guitarist until the next record, All Stand Together. So 35 was Paul Jackson from Bloodgood. Anything to say about Bloodgood?
That they rock, and that I think everybody should go out and Spotify and find Bloodgood and download it.
There you go. Yeah, my favorite album. You know what? It's funny because for the longest time I thought Out of the Darkness was my favorite record until I heard All Stand Together. And I'm going, geez, this one might be better than Out of the Darkness. I think they actually got better with progressively better with each album because the last one they put out there with Oz Fox there, what was that? Dangerously Close might be one of their best as well. So it's hard to say which is their best.
Is Petra's guitarist on that list?
Oh, I'm sure he's there
Oh,
somewhere.
okay, okay.
Remember, we're talking about where did we start here? We're talking about the 30s from 49 to 30 is where we're going. Most of our favorite guitarists are going to be at the top of the list, I would think. You know, However, at 34, there we got another great guitarist. He's a Canadian with the band Angelica, and then went on to form the band Dreamer. Dennis Cameron, and he's got his own website. He put out an instrumental record about a year before, or this podcast got started. So a couple years ago, or about 23, I think. It was an instrumental record, which I think he just decided to do for the sake of getting some creativity out. I did reach out to Dennis. They're trying to get him to come on the show. He's not interested. He's kind of moved
Oh,
on, I think, from the rock scene. Yeah, he's kind of moved on from the rock
yeah,
scene. I don't think he wants to talk about the
yeah.
past
Well, we
and
tried. You
all
tried.
that.
So
Yeah. I do want to do an episode about Angelica. Maybe we'll do a deep dive into one of their albums, do a review of one of Angelica's albums, maybe even a second
I
one
always get
including his record.
Angelica um, with Ken Tamplin's cover. I always get the two mixed up.
With what
Well,
cover?
no, with Ken Tamplin.
Okay.
I always get that
Why? I don't
mixed
know.
up when I see Angelica. I'm like, oh, Ken Tamplin.
Oh, here's some music from Angelica. So that was a snippet of Angelica off their album Rock, Stock, and Barrel. The song was called Fire Inside. As you noticed, the snippets these days are all focusing on the solos, the leads, because we're talking about the guitars.
Yeah, I like the voice, the song you just played where it showed how he could go from low to high very quickly. That was a good illustration of it. So
Yeah, I was trying to decide what to pick for that record because I got one of theirs. Like I said, I want to do a deep dive on that, so I didn't want to play something I'm probably going to play down the road. Anyways, 33, we have another guitarist that we are well familiar with, George Okoa, who played with Deliverance. He played with Vengeance in '92, kind of after their heyday. He did a stint with Mortification, and he's now with the band Worldview, which you can check was made an appearance at Immortal Fest. I believe they're going to make another appearance at this year's Immortal Fest too. But yeah, George Okoa. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention in the news as well. Again, you know what? I had it written down, but I didn't have it written down in my notes. For some reason, I don't know, I think it was because we're talking about George Okoa, although he's not part of this band. But the band Reign of Glory is coming out with
that's a
their
nice name
second
too.
record. Yeah, I found out about them when we talked about Immortal Fest. They were at Immortal Fest. I checked out their album, and it blew me away. Now, Reign of Glory has a new singer, and they were talking about it, about the new record. It's called Slingshot, which is a reference to David and Goliath, David's battle with Goliath and his slingshot. I think if anyone was a fan of the first album, they're going to be a fan of this new one. Definitely worth checking out. I'm definitely interested in hearing that one. So a little bit of news out of place here. We only got a couple more on the list here. All right. Coming in at 32 on our list, we have the band Audio Adrenaline. Barry Blair, the guitarist, who was with the band from just a short time, from 91 to 96. What are your thoughts on Audio Adrenaline from this time period and Barry Blair?
They were a good band too.
Yeah, I have one of their albums. Again, Audio Adrenaline is a little poppier. Not bad. I've got, I think, the Bloom album, which is probably one of their signature records, one of their early records, anyways. And they do some good stuff on there. I know they do a cover of Free Ride. Who played Free Ride? You know the song Free Ride? Come on and take a free
Yes,
ride.
yes, yes, yes. That's a good song. Yeah.
Edgar Winter. It just came to me now. All right. Now we're in 31. Last one on this list for today. And we have Stu Heiss, who was with the band Rez. And stuff. Great band. He's been with them from the beginning. I believe Stu Heiss, he was with them the whole time. Rez was one of these bands that did not really go through a lineup change. We've talked about Rez on the program. I think we did our best of Rez, so if you haven't heard that, go check that out. I just did a bonus episode on their second album. Why can't I think of anything now? Rainbow's End. There you go. Anyways, not sure what album this was originally from. This snippet is coming from the live edition, 20 Years Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stu Heiss. And White Noise.
So there you go. There's a little bit of playing of Stu Heiss and Rez. I used that because he has this big long solo. I actually kind of cut the solo down a little bit, otherwise it would drag on. That's our guitar list for today. We're ending at 31. Next time we do this, we'll continue on with 30. I think we're going to skip 30. Next time we continue this, we're going to carry on with 29, 30, somewhere around there type of thing. On to our birthdays. April 27th, we have Swedish guitarist Bjorn Stigson, who played guitar with the band Leviticus. I announced, I think it was last time, they're redoing one of their albums. We're going to re-record it with English vocals instead of the Swedish vocals. I actually found my notes on that one, which I didn't find last week. They're re-releasing Stigum, or redoing Stigum, in an English version. The digital version will be out on the band's website when it gets released. For those who don't know, at the time I didn't know this, but now, Stigum is translated means stitches. So the English version I think will be called Stitches. Or maybe they'll stay with Stigum. Anyways, Bjorn Stigson, guitarist for Leviticus, born in 1951.
Wow.
Esther Estelle, who was a drummer for Pillar, born April 28th, 1981. And April 29th, we just talked about this guy. He was on our list. Let's go back to where number 35 from Deliverance, Vengeance, Mortification, Worldview. April 29th, George Okora, born in 1962. So I guess it's kind of appropriate we talked about where he was on the list on this episode when we announced his birthday.
Wow.
May 2nd. I was trying to get into May here a little bit since we're already in May. The April birthdays are past birthdays. May 2nd, Larry Farkas, guitarist for Vengeance, Deliverance, Die Happy, later on with Holy Soldier, born in 1966. So yeah, a lot of these guys between Vengeance, Deliverance, kind of moved back in between the bands.
That's all right.
Vengeance would start for a while, then they move into Deliverance, and vice versa. Sometimes they went from Deliverance to Vengeance type of thing. Alright, now we got a few album anniversaries. Again, most of the album anniversaries I was able to find as far as release date ended up being Striper albums or Michael Sweet albums. May 6th was a Michael Sweet solo record called I'm Not Your Suicide, released 2014. I've heard a couple tracks off of that. Not bad. This is my take on that. May 14th, we have another side project from Michael Sweet, Evil and Divine, released 2021. Evil and Divine was a Sunbomb project, and for those who don't know, Sunbomb was a project between Michael Sweet and the guitarist of LA Guns, the Tracy Guns. I've checked out some of Sunbomb's stuff. Not bad. It's not too far out there. It rocks. It's good.
Yeah.
That's what I got to say about that. May 15th, we have Soldiers Under Command, released way back in 1985.
Wow. That makes me feel old.
Yes. Oh man. Don't remind me.
Soldiers Under Command.
May 18th, another Striper record, 7 Weeks Live, released 2004. The recording came from a performance in 2003. Which is funny actually, because thinking about Striper albums, they released 7, the best of Striper, and you can't get that anywhere. Well, you might be able to get the album. All I want from that record was 2 songs, because I have their best of, which was Can't Stop This Rock. Then they come out with a second best of called 7, but released 2 brand new tracks on that one. I haven't heard those tracks yet.
Cool.
Unfortunately. Yes, but they don't have that on the streaming services. They don't have it available to buy from Apple, so I can't buy just those 2 tracks. I have all the others that are on that record, so I don't know if I need another whole new record.
Oh.
And May 19th, one more album. Another side project from Michael Sweet, from his collaboration with George Lynch, called Sweet and Lynch. We have Heart and Sacrifice. I've heard 1 or 2. I've heard the first, maybe the second from Sweet and Lynch. I think this might be the third one. I've heard a little bit from them. It's not bad. George Lynch is a great guitarist. Michael Sweet's a great guitarist. When the two of them get together, it's not always commercially great. Sometimes they kind of go a little experimental. But the first one is great. This one I haven't heard a whole lot from. But I mean, it's Michael Sweet, so it's hard to go wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so that's our episode. Thanks for listening all the way through. If you're still with us, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, that's right. If you like it, comment.
Definitely send comment either on our YouTube page or Facebook page. Leave a review. You can leave comments that way, type of thing. All right. Keep on rocking, and God bless
Yeah,
everybody.
God bless. Yeah. See you later, Aaron.